There was an article by the Straits Times regarding the Bali bombings involving two suspects named Mohammed Nazir Lep and Mohammed Farouk Amin. And let's read it here. It says Pentagon repatriates Malaysian prisoners who admitted to war crimes linked to the Bali bombing. Now, I did a video about this about a month ago regarding the release of these two men for a deal that they made with the U.S. government, even though their confessions are coming up suspect because they were tortured in CIA prisons. U.S. military said on December 18th that it repatriated two Malaysian men from its prison at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, who admitted to committing war crimes for an affiliate of Al Qaeda that carried out deadly attacks in Bali, Indonesia in 2002. It's the second worst terrorist attack uh, regarding Arab fundamentalism behind 9/11. The rare transfer, a day after the Pentagon released another prisoner to the custody of Kenya, reduced the detainee population to 27 men. This article was written in December 18th for those who are not aware that this is actually a recent article. The freed prisoners, Mohammed Nazir Lep and Mohammed Farouk Amin, have been held by the United States since 2003. They were returned to the custody of the Malaysian government and supervision of its uh, de-radicalization program through a diplomatic agreement that was reached as part of the guilty pleas in January. One thing about Indonesia is that they have a fantastic de-radicalization program. I forgot the name of the police officer that was the founder of this program. It's been quite successful. Um, the group that these men were belonging to were Jemaah Islamiyah, known for attacking Christian churches and trying to institute a caliphate in Indonesia. And these two men were students of one NSAP Nurisman, also known as Hambali, who is currently in Guantanamo Bay. Before they left, the men gave sworn testimony that prosecutors hope will be useful in the eventual trial of NSAP Nurjaman, the Indonesian prisoner known as Hambali. Bali is accused of being the mastermind of the Bali bombings and other terrorist attacks in 2002 and 2003 as a leader of the Jemaah Islamiyah movement. The men admitted to being accessories to the terror attack after the fact by helping Hambali elude capture. In fact, the three main masterminds of the Bali bombing were executed. Um, and I did a very lengthy article on this too, as well, including one of the masterminds. Um, I forgot his name. All three of these men were held for years after their capture in Thailand in the CIA secret prison network and used torture in its interrogations. So again, we don't know if they were telling the truth, telling some truth, or telling no truth. I mean, like I said before with the 9/11 suspects, even if Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was telling the truth, he's the mastermind 9/11. How can we believe it? And it makes you wonder, you know, was this done on purpose? The CIA claims that they were trying to stop the next attack. They didn't care about 9/11. This is coming from Bruce Jessen and James Mitchell when they gave testimony uh, regarding why they tortured these people. And James Mitchell basically said, I would do it again, protect the country. In fact, they didn't protect anything because none of these people that were tortured in the SEER program, which the CIA used, was actionable intelligence. In fact, it was intelligence that already existed or for plots that didn't exist. The entire Iraq War of 2003 was built on the premise of a tortured confession of one Ibn Sheikh al-Libi, who was tortured by the Egyptians on orders of the CIA. And he told them that, yes, al-Qaeda and the Ba'athist government under Saddam Hussein was procuring chemical and biological weapons. Secretary of State Colin Powell took that information from the CIA, thank you, George Tenet, and went to the United Nations Security Council and said, here we go. And they showed you pictures and cartoons because that's all they had, of these underground bases that didn't exist for weapons that didn't exist. And we killed approximately 1.3 to 4 million Iraqis because of it. And this is the reason why there's arrest warrants in Malaysia out for Dick Cheney, George Bush, Don Rumsfeld, Paul Wolfowitz, Douglas Feith, and Joint Chiefs of Staff, I think Richard Myers. I'm sorry, I think it's Tommy Franks, Central Command. Mr. Brian Buford, a lawyer for Nazir at Guantanamo, said his client plans to live a quiet life with his family. He's been punished many times over for his long ago involvement with the wrong people. We hope that one day that his torturers and their enablers might face accountability for the evil they've done in our name. One of the conditions of the Malaysian warrant regarding John and also John Yu, Alberto Gonzalez, these people are wanted by the Malaysian authorities for war crimes. And it was through the torture program. At their sentencing hearing in January, Farouk showed sketches to the military jury that he made portraying his first months in CIA custody, like Abu Zubaydah did. Both the circumstances of his interrogation and his conditions at a black site in Afghanistan. Part of their plea, the men admitted to training in al-Qaeda camps in Afghanistan in 2000 and agreeing to become suicide bombers. Instead, they returned to Southeast Asia and ran errands for Bali, acting as couriers for funds that were traced to suspected accomplices in the bombings of the resort of Bali on October 12, 2002, that killed 202 people. I believe it was Paddy's Bar and something else. Most of the people were Australian. Under the plea agreement, the jury was instructed to sentence the men to 20 to 25 years for their crimes. The jurors returned with a 23-year sentence, but the panel was unaware that separately, through administrative credit from the military judge and a side deal with the Pentagon officials overseeing the court, the men would be returned home sooner in exchange for their cooperation with the government. In fact, this is all under the battle to close Guantanamo. They want to try and get these people out of here, but what do you do with Khalid Sheikh Mohammed of Ramzi bin al-Shib and Wali bin Attash and Mustafa al-Hawsawi and Amr al-Baluchi? What do you do to these people and the 18 others? I mean, where do you put them? If they took the plea deal and said, yeah, we're guilty, do they go to Saudi Arabia? Do they go to Qatar, Turkey? I don't know where they go. Ms. Christine Funk, a lawyer for Farouk, said he looked forward to the opportunity to continue living a life of purpose, taking care of his parents, pursuing a career that best reflects his skills and talents. Some relatives of those killed in the Bali bombing expressed disappointment that the men would get such short sentences, but said they were hopeful that their testimony would convict Hambali, who has been identified as the former leader of the movement that carried out the bombings. Malaysia's Home Minister Salahuddin Nushin Ismail on December 18 confirmed that the two men have returned to their home country. The government has constructed a reintegration program that is comprehensive for the two individuals, which includes support services, welfare, medical screenings, said Derek Seri Salahuddin in a statement. Besides Hambali, 5 other prisoners are in pretrial proceedings at Guantanamo Bay for the September 11th attacks, the bombing of the USS Cole on October 12, 2000. Also, an Iraqi prisoner who pleaded guilty is serving a sentence that ends in 2032. Another 5 prisoners are effectively held as indefinite detainees, one of them being Abu Zubaydah, in the war on terrorism. By the way, Abu Zubaydah has no charges against him. He's not al-Qaeda. CIA had to admit this in Zubaydah's military tribunal in 2006. Why is he still there? 3 of whom had never been charged but have been found to be too dangerous to release through an intelligence review process. The other 2 are Ramzi bin al-Shib, who in 2023 found to be mentally unfit to face trial, and Ali Hamza al-Bahul, who is serving a life sentence for conspiring to commit war crimes as a media advisor to Osama bin Laden. That leaves 15 men, most of them Yemeni citizens, who were brought there by George W. Bush under his administration, were subsequently found to be eligible for transfer to countries that will help absorb them into society while monitoring them for signs of radicalization. So what does this mean for the four defendants with Ramzi bin Ashib, declared mentally unfit? What about them? Will we ever get a trial? Probably not. These people are probably going to take the plea deal, take the death penalty off the table, and have them do life sentences somewhere. Is this a win for the families? For some of them, yes. For some, no. Um, I'm not only just concerned about the judicial system, but also something more important, which would answer a lot of questions. What evidence did the government have outside the forced confessions of these men? Allegedly, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and Ramzi bin Ashib gave video testimony to an Al Jazeera reporter, Yosri Fuda, who wrote, along with Nick Fielding, wrote a book called Masterminds of Terror. I interviewed Nick Fielding and said that the CIA has this tape. Where is it? Why is it being used in as evidence? Why doesn't the CIA say they have it? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But the fear is that if they take a plea deal, that we'll never see the evidence or lack thereof in the allotted amount of time. And there won't be another trial after this unless somebody has new evidence to procure, which can point to a finger. Now, look, I would love to work with a lawyer regarding a release of the transcripts from the NSA regarding the Yemen hub in Sana'a, Yemen, which was the Al Qaeda communications hub. The NSA had monitored this hub for 5 years. And I would love to know what the transcripts say, because if they were talking about operations, that means the NSA withheld information about an attack that was also withheld from the State Department and the intelligence services for whatever reason. Maybe they weren't talking about the attacks, which would basically clear the NSA. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention that when you have high-level terrorists like Osama bin Laden or Dr. Ayman al-Zawahiri or Mohammed Atta or Ensap Nurjaman and Hambali or Wali bin Attash or Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, Saeed Imam al-Sharif. God knows who was talking on these phones about what terrorist operations. And this is how you get the specifics, because let's just say they were talking about the 9/11 attacks in the year 2000 in this house. That means the intelligence services would have the who, the what, the when, the where, and the why. And 9/11 happened. I'm not saying that the NSA knew specifics or the CIA knew specifics. We don't know that. But until we have enough people that takes more interest in what I'm trying to propose, they're just going to walk away scot-free. So if there's a lawyer watching this video, or if anyone knows a lawyer, if anyone knows anyone big in alt media, please share this video. I would love to talk to these people about opening a FOIA request for the transcripts of the NSA's monitoring of the Al Qaeda communications hub in Yemen. And I'm just shocked that in all the years that was known about this place, not one person has ever tried to do what I'm proposing to do. It would make or break the 9/11 case. All right, listen, guys, have a great evening, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.